Can't help it. Ooh, welcome one, welcome all to episode 297 of the Xbox Expansion Pass, recorded on Saturday, November 1st, 2025. I'm your host, Luke Lohr, the Insipid Ghost, joined by my co-host, the Intrepid Captain Logun. Today, we'll be chatting about just what spooky games we played in the last month, what this new Xbox means for the future of both hardware and software, and we'll be taking your questions as the show goes on. Logan, we like to start the show by offering words of kindness to those who have made our gaming weeks better. But first, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. It's been mostly just playing games this week. There hasn't really been we've seen some kerfuffle around there, but Halloween was a pretty chill night for me. Nothing really major going on.
Do you have trick or treaters?
No, because I kept this. I am the trick or treater.
Oh,
I trick or treated myself.
You are the Grinch of Halloween. I see.
No, the Grinch of Halloween eventually gave it back. I kept it. I'm better. I'm a better Grinch. No, it was pretty fun. It was mostly just kind of hanging out with friends, playing games, and relaxing. So I haven't really done a whole lot to kind of. Still got like some decorations and stuff that I'll have to pull down because we're already getting into Christmas season. Now we're on Christmas.
Nope. Let Thanksgiving have its day.
What's a Thanksgiving?
Oh gosh.
Am I giving thanks for Christmas already? Because I feel like that's what we're doing.
Culturally inappropriate holiday is what it is.
Okay. Well, then let's skip it and go straight to the Christian one.
Another culturally inappropriate holiday. How dare? Right. I'm just messing with it. Right now, we've alienated like half the planet. It's like, all right, guys. It is good to have everybody here. Logan, I will tell you what. I had a great night last night. We finished watching. We've been watching a lot of spooky stuff through the month, and like that's kind of. I want to talk about some of the spooky things we enjoyed through the month of gaming and media in the past month. But we had probably 600 to 700 trick or treaters.
Oh wow.
We went through, I think, 8 bags of candy that all had about 150 pieces in them, which was fantastic. Like, I love it. Like, if you're one of Mr. Lohr's students, you get extra. You get, like, that full handful kind of thing. But, like, kids were coming by, rushing up, taking pictures. Their parents were coming in saying hi. It was just fun. Like, and we sat out there. Our new puppy, Callie, she did a great job. She was outside with us the whole time, getting pets and loves from hundreds of people. And I was very nervous because, it's like, my other dog, my previous dog, she could not handle that. No, Callie did great, and she was in her super dog outfit. So she had a little crypto outfit, and
nice.
She's named Kal-El after Superman. So like it was fun, and so it was just cool to see. And I had a good old night. We finished watching like Freddy versus Jason, and we'd been watching real scary stuff prior to that, but we just wanted a fun like goofy one. So yeah, man, it was a good night for me. It was fun.
I like that the movies that generated the genre of horror and slasher and stuff are now the fun movies.
Well, Freddy versus Jason's a pretty funny concept. You know what I mean? And like that's what I mean. Whereas like if you watch Haunting of Hill House or Welcome to Derry, like you're meant to be enthralled. Where if you're watching Freddy versus Jason, you want to watch these two icons hit each other.
Yeah.
And like that's the fun. So
I love funny, scary stuff like Cabin in the Woods and Tucker and Dale versus Evil and stuff like that. That's my alley.
Because you don't do scary. You do not do scary.
But you like scary movies. I like scary movies. I just don't do scary games because scary games you have to be the person that goes and does it, and that's harder. Like everyone saw me do Resident Evil 7. That was hard. I couldn't move forward. It was tough, but I'll happily watch like a Resident Evil movie or something like that. Like that's not a problem.
That's funny to me because when we did our fundraiser, like you're like popping those like bad tasting beans nonstop, and like to me, I can't do that. But I'll play spooky games all the time. In fact, there's a big spooky sale right now. I got Soma for $5 and Amnesia the Bunker for $5 each. Snag both of those.
So. I heard Outlast is good.
It is. It's just not on sale, and like with tuition, like saving, like I'm pinching pennies, I guess is the way it is. But like that's not news for me. I'm always pretty frugal. But it was just, I'm excited for that. I played a lot of spooky stuff here, but can I give my words of kindness real quick before we dive into our spooky games of the month? I got to interview, and it's a pure pleasure for me because I love Dead by Daylight. For the second year in a row, I interviewed Matthew Cote from Dead by Daylight. He's the head of partnerships. So like, if you want to see Michael Myers in the game, he's the guy that reaches out and touches base with the people in charge. And if you want to see Tokyo Ghoul in there or whatever, that's his role. And so we had a good hour-long plus conversation about licensing, partnerships. Some stuff was redacted and he couldn't say, and other stuff it was really interesting. But Matthew's just a wonderful interview, and the reception seems to be very positive. And you and I were talking offline, like the DBD community is one of those niche gaming communities, much like Destiny and a bunch of others. Like you don't see them mainstream, but they're big, right? And so they're in those that comment section having a war. They're having a war there. But I really appreciate Matthew for coming on because it makes me happy, and everybody that's checked out that interview, I really appreciate because it's just fun for me. So
that's awesome. Yeah, those interviews that you do with those teams. It's so nice because very rarely do I think many people give credence to a lot of the games as a service for continuing the investment. We were talking, or I was talking with my girlfriend A-Chick about games to play that were spooky. And one of them came up. It was like a haunted or ghost prop hunt. It was like one of those types of games.
Sure.
And I was watching the video of it and I was like, this is Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed from IllFonic.
Such a fun game. Yeah.
It's such a fun game, but it's one of those ones. It's like that was on sale for $5 for Halloween. And I'm like, it's the same as this knockoff. Like we should be playing the better game at this point. Like IllFonic makes really, really good asymmetrical games, and Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed is one of those ones. And I was just like, man, it's killer to me that some games that are actually very well done just don't get the credits that I feel like that they deserve for being such a well created game. Like that game has like the actual voice actors for Ghostbusters in it, but nobody ever talks about that game.
Yeah. So
with like Dead by Daylight, it's nice that the interview that you did kind of brought to life, like the validation that game is like getting we're getting into double digit years for how long that game's been in running. And that's hard. There was a period of time where we were doing the podcast and it felt like every month we were running into another game as a service that was shutting down after a year or 10 months.
It's one of those like games of service, live service games don't like that is a risky bet, right? And we see like Amazon shutting down half their gaming division, and that
New World's dead.
MMO, New World's gone, and like that. What a shame. And you mentioned IllFonic; they've got a Halloween game coming out next year, like Michael Myers Halloween, and I'm all in because that's one of my favorite genres or movie franchises of all time. I just love Myers and the Halloween movies, even the bad ones. But like IllFonic and that genre have seen games that they were great, but they closed down anyway. The Friday the 13th game closed down because of licensing. Texas Chainsaw Massacre closed down because it just didn't have the base that it needed, despite being a very good game. The only one that stood the test of time in 4v1 is DBD. And like, I think it's the Fortnite effect. It's a museum of horror kind of thing. But like now IllFonic's making yet another one with Gun Games and I forget the other studio. But like what's going to happen to this one? It's going to have single player, great. But how is this one different than DVD? How is it different than Texas Chainsaw? How is it different than Friday the 13th? And I don't know the answer. I know that our buddy Miles is working on it, and I'm really excited. But I want this game to succeed. But live service horror, 4v1 asymmetrical, like what was it, Predator Hunting Grounds, barely like all of these 4v1s, can they survive? I don't know. I just hope this one does. And shout out to the DVD community for keeping their game alive, because they're just, they're never happy, but they're always playing. That's the Destiny effect, right? So
yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. you know.
But I'm glad that the interview is doing well, because
Yeah.
it's one of those it's one of those situations where those devs probably don't get hit up enough for how they do. Like, how many people are out there trying to reach out to like No Man's Sky devs and being like, hey, let's talk about this free update that you've continued to release for a while.
Ironically, I will tell you, I have tried to get the No Man's Sky people on every year since XEP started. They never answer. They never answer. But like,
too busy
or XCP size and stuff. And like, we're approaching episode 300 in what, 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And we reached out to Xbox, and I was like, hey, we're in 300, anybody? And the schedule's just not there, or our podcast doesn't land the biggest number, or the spotlight that it needs to get a fill on or whatnot. But they answer, and they're polite about it, and they're lovely to us, and we do get to review stuff despite being a smaller show. And our audience, we are so grateful for you guys, because we don't need to be the biggest, but you guys keep coming back. And like, we've been doing this for almost 300 episodes. We're having there's a lot to celebrate there. And this is like a live service content creation thing, and it's just a very similar thing. Like, we appreciate people that are here and want to be here. Thank you. Like, that's cool. And to the communities that go to their live service games, same premise. Like, show those devs some love, support your game, enjoy it, and be happy. They don't all need to be Fortnite to be happy. So that's cool.
So a lot of people don't play Fortnite to be happy as well too.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
know my wallet would be happier if I wasn't playing Fortnite.
Yeah. I mean, my wallet might be happier, but I really love that game, so I don't mind. That's fine. That's fine. Let's give a quick shout out to the chat before we move on and get your words of kindness. Shout out to Clutch Kwando in the house. Freight Conductor is here. X Bacon Gaming, Nissahauer in the chat as well. Good to see you guys. If you are lurking and hang out, because we see those numbers kind of climbing, thank you guys for being here. We hope you had a wonderful spooky month. We're going to talk about some of the spooky games we played before we talk about the future of Xbox. Dun, dun, dun. So we'll see how that goes. Logan, who's your words of kindness, my friend?
I'm going to shout out Achik for kind of going in with me, because I've been wanting to do Arc Raiders, which just came out, and it's definitely worth talking about as far as like the reception and how popular that game has been, because it's been doing stress tests, and it's another one of these weird ones where like we've heard the commentary about games that don't need to be populating the space because it's already overcrowded, and it's like I think there's still a lot of room for games to come out. Especially like in specific genres and stuff, as we were just talking about. So, but she I've been like sending her videos for a while, like, hey, check this out, like funny clips and stuff like that, just to try and like drum up interest. And then we got to jump in, and it's her first extraction shooter, and shout out to her for jumping in with me, because I'm not like big on extraction shooters, but this game just seems like it's really amazing. So it's one of those situations where you want someone to come in and enjoy the game that you want to enjoy as well. And she full-heartedly like jumped in with me to play it, and we plan on playing it some more. I know I've been playing with some other folks as well too, but just nice to be able to have that support, and be able to have someone like, willing to play the game that you want to play and stuff. Because you always see those videos, it's like, oh well, what are they, what's your partner going to do? It's like, well, they're probably playing something else, right? And they don't always like hang out with you to spend time with you when they're playing their game. So it's like it's nice to have that kind of that ability to play something with them.
That's awesome, bud. That is awesome. And I know, well, I mean, I think she owed you one after all those PvP hourglass missions in Sea of Thieves, right?
Oh man, no, she makes up for that with letting me take her around to finish like commendations in Sea of Thieves.
Gotcha.
So I kill all the PvE stuff and keep track of like where we're going to go and what we're going to do, and then when it comes to PvP, I let her go murder, and I take care of the boat, because there's no boat, there's no loot, and that's my mindset.
Yeah, fair. Well, I'm glad you're playing Arc Raiders. You seem to be, you and Joe were talking to me about it, like kind of want to sell me on it. I think, I'm not sure, but I was in the whole camp of like, I really want Exoborn as my extraction shooter, but that game has been very quiet. And I even emailed PR a few weeks ago and haven't been able to get a good answer as far as when and where that hits consoles. But I know what I played at SGF. I loved it. So we'll see. But like, I might make that Arc Raiders jump. I see Freight Conductor in chat saying it's pretty good too. So we'll see.
It's different. It is. We can get into it as like if you want to dive into it, we can dive into it, but it's different.
Well, yeah, let's dive into it first, and then we'll go spooky games because I do want to talk about, because I've been playing a lot of single player stuff, and I really do want to talk about like how much I've enjoyed that. But tell me about Arc Raiders.
So Arc Raiders is pretty interesting. As like a premise, it is an extraction shooter, which if you're not too familiar, the idea is you load into a map. The idea is to go loot as much as you can for what you need to be able to build up your arsenal and your base. You go in, there's going to be PvE and there's going to be PvP. So it's a little bit of a mix in that case. And there's only a few extraction places to actually go to. And those places are going to be places that you will probably run into either PvE or PvP people like trying to extract as well too. So there's this balance of like getting in, getting out with what you need and surviving when you can. Otherwise you lose your loot in that kind of like a gameplay loop. But if I were to attribute this as far as like a thematic or like a design of like a game, this is like if you were to be in the Matrix and you were living in Zion and you had to go to the surface to get scrap and stuff to be able to maintain your home, right? You get food, you get scrap to be able to repair things and whatnot. But while you're up there, there are other factions of humans that are also trying to get the same scrap and materials themselves. All the meanwhile, the robots are like flying around, circling ahead of you, and you have to, there's some that are called snitches, and if they detect you and you don't take it out fast enough, all of these other Arc robots just come in, and you've got to deal with these wasps that'll come in and sting you with like tasers, or a rocketeer that has a literally mounted rocket launcher on it, and then there's other robots that are on the ground.
I'm watching footage while you're talking. It looks really cool. Also, shout out to the Matrix references. That's one that only us old people get, but I like it.
Yeah.
This looks really cool.
It's really so. The interesting thing about this extraction shooter compared to like other extraction shooters, and Freight Conductor coming saying it's an extraction shooter where the community seems to be more cooperative than trying to kill you for loot. I've had mixed on this. I've had one guy like yell out to me that he's like, "Hey, let's extract together." And me and Joe didn't catch that. We didn't hear what he said. We just heard someone. So we immediately opened fire because we got caught off guard. We're also very paranoid, and they ended up killing us, and we ended up losing everything. They're like, you could have gotten out with us, and it's like, I didn't hear you. Didn't hear what was going on.
Can I interrupt briefly? I'm so sorry because you are in the flow, but I'm watching the Gaming Bolt like review on mute right now while you're talking, and I saw Split End's name, our buddy David Burdett from Gaming Trend. Yeah, he must have been doing the review with them, and it just made me happy, and I wanted to say it before I forgot it. I apologize.
Yeah,
that was cool.
No, it's funny because it's like I've been enjoying the aspect of that, but that game, it's the PvE is extremely hard. Like you cannot ignore that, and you can't just assume that, oh well, I'll just run under one of the drones and they won't notice me. It's like audio is very intense in that game. Like if you make a sound, drones will hear it. If a security camera catches you, it will alert a drone and then they'll fly over and do a scan. If you extract, the speaker will come on and the bunker will start to shift as the elevator's coming up, and a drone will fly in and kind of check things out. And you're walking, you make sound. You breach things to open them up to loot, that makes sound. It's insane. Like it's tense. And if you hear people around you, you start to hear like, where are they? They're upstairs and stuff. So you start closing doors behind you because you're like, if I close the door behind me, they're going to have to open the door and I'll catch that. So it's not like one of those games where, you just bust open the door, everything's looted and you get in and get out. There are moments where you're crawling around. It's intense. Like the adrenaline rush is amazing.
I'm sold. Like I'm watching the footage, I'm hearing you talk, and I'm like, as soon as I'm done, I'm downloading this because I want to play it.
You have to communicate with your team members about where you're doing, because there's times where like I'll be on one floor and Joe will be on another floor, and I'll have to stop and I'll have to listen, and I'm listening and I'm hearing, okay, am I hearing his footsteps or am I hearing someone else? Because I can't get caught off guard. Because as soon as you looting is intentionally slow, and the point is that your head is like stuck as you're digging around in something, and that's the opportunity for people to come up and sneak up on you and stuff. So it's like you can't linger too long. You can't make too much noise. If you see red flares go up in the area, then you know someone's died. It's crazy, dude. There's just activity going on all the time.
That's cool, man. Well, I'm interested. Like, this looks cool. I need to play this. This looks really cool. So I'm like, all right.
It's a slower paced game depending on how you want to play it. You can run and be loud if you want to, but you are definitely going to have to pay for the consequences. And the AI in this game, it is nothing to just shirk off. Like, the players are not the most dangerous thing in the game. Most of the time it's going to be the AI, because it's not like one wasp will catch you and then, you know, you can take it out. If you're not paying attention and you run through and one catches you, if you don't kill that thing fast, it starts calling in others. And next thing you know, you've got 5 drones on you. Like, Joe and I had to crawl into the extraction bunker and like pull ourselves up to the terminal and like hoist ourselves. We were knocked. We should not, we would have died if we hadn't extracted, but we were like hitting the buttons on the terminal while you're like holding yourself up to it and extracting just to go down to survive. Like, that was how hard the AI, we didn't find anyone. It was just AI. And it kicked our butts.
Well, you know, you made Satya very happy when you said AI. So I'm sure.
Oh, good. That was my intent. I wanted to ensure that he felt like his billions were working towards this end goal.
Yeah. That guy. No, man, that's cool. I'm in. I'm downloading it as soon as we're done. I just don't want to start the download while we're talking to the bandwidth and stuff. But I'm in. I will play this. This looks cool, and I hope Exerborn comes out, because I really want that. That's the one I really want, because it's more mech based. But like, as I watch this, I'm like, yo, dope.
Yeah, I will say that Arc Raiders, it feels very grounded in the sense that like, you're not hopping around. You don't want to run anywhere. You don't want to jump on stuff. You don't want to bounce. Like, you stay planted, you stay low, you stay quiet. There's no, there's no grapples across the build or across the thing. There's no parachute if you want to jump off a building. You will take fall damage. And the thing that I like about it too is everything feels very, very physically grounded. Like, if you shoot the fan or the rotor off of a drone, it wobbles and it wobbles till it stabilizes again. And then it kind of lingers, like, it doesn't have quite the power that it did when it had all 4 rotors on it. And it's like, you can kind of tell, like, it's hurting. And same thing with like your person too. Like, if you jump from a high place and you land, you're going to drop to your knees and then kind of roll to your side, because you just landed on your feet without any kind of like dodge roll or anything like that. And it's really interesting how good Embark has done with this, given that the finals has done really well when it comes to their arena shooter and how destructible their environments are, because the environments in this game should be just as destructible in my mind. But they've done a really good job with everything else, with audio, with physics and stuff like that, that I'm impressed, dude. The game has gotten really good reviews. The concurrency has been very high on Steam. I think they beat their stress test numbers in the first day of launch, and everyone's just been streaming it on there. So it's been very popular. And to see that come out from a studio that, the finals is a good game, but not many people talk about the finals. And that's one of those things. It's like, I hope that they get their flowers with this, because I think Arc Raiders deserves it.
Yeah. It's $40, right? Like, it's a new game.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. New game, $40.
It was free. So now I'm like, oh, worth 40.
So here's the caveat. I had a gift card from work and some Microsoft rewards points. So I had 60 to throw at the deluxe edition. The 40 is going to be dependent on what you're playing right now, how much interest you have in it, and if you have folks that you want to play with on a regular basis, because that that is, I think, going to be the thing that determines a lot of how many people are going to be jumping into this, because it never feels good to buy a game that your friends are playing and then they jump onto something else and you never play it. And then you're just sitting there like with this $40 game that you don't want to play alone. So if you have the friends to play with, or you're comfortable jumping in with randos, or you just want to try and do it solo, then I think that the $40 is an easy ask. About as easy as an ask as I think Helldivers was for me when I saw that.
Helldivers. Oof.
Yeah, Helldivers is great. I'm enjoying Arc Raiders as much as I enjoyed Helldivers, even though I would not compare the two as far as like games go, but as far as like value per cost, I think 40 is an easy win for me. I was willing to throw 60 for the premium.
I can be convinced. You know what I mean? Like truly, I can be convinced. I just, and like I'm watching gameplay and I'm like, I had been holding off this one specifically because of Exoborn, but Exoborn's just. It's MIA right now.
Also, this is a 3-player max lobby for you. Like each map has up to 21 players. If you're going solo, you'll come across more. They'll matchmake you to solo. If you're duo, they'll matchmake you to duo. If you're trio, they'll matchmake you to trio. But it is not like a 4-player game. And the lobby size is 21. So potentially, if you're running in trios, you're going to have up to 7 or 6 other teams on the map at the time that you go in. And the placement, the maps are great. I really like the difference in the maps. I've been watching some of the other maps. They have like nighttime modes as well too, where they have like fewer extraction points. It's a little bit harder, a little bit harder to see everything, but you kind of sneak around a little bit more. But they've done a really good job, and the depth is there if you want to invest in the crafting and resource elements of it. So they've put a lot of time into thinking about the player progression and stuff like that. And one of the troubles with a lot of extraction shooters is there's always going to be a wipe that resets your player, resets your skills, resets your stash. You're basically like they're leveling the playing field for a new season. The way that Embark has gone about this is that they've decided that is going to be an opt-in thing. And if you want to have a better chance at like, better XP and stuff for the next wipe, then you can actually go do a mission that will be like an adventure. And the better stuff that you put into that kind of like send off, the better your progress and growth will be with the new character in the next season. But that is an opt-in opportunity. You don't have to reset your character at any point if you don't want to. And they've given a lot of players that agency when it comes to an extraction shooter, which you typically don't see, because usually it's just like a wipe and then everything's reset, and it doesn't matter how close you were to finishing something or how far away you were from your goal. They let you kind of like, if you're right on the precipice of finishing a big quest, or you want to go tackle like the end game boss, you don't have to reset when everyone else resets. You can keep it just normal.
You're selling me. I see Wolf of Darkness in our chat saying it's amazing. Of course, Freight Conductor was talking it up. I don't know, man. I'm starting to like it. The only the aesthetic, the whole like cowboy-esque mixed thing isn't necessarily my jam, but I think I could be convinced. Like I'm more of like a mixed sci-fi type person, but you were saying it's very grounded. That said, I'm not opposed. Like I do like this. I do like what I'm seeing here. So I will do some investigating here, because you might by next week I might be I'm addicted,
Yeah, I would say it's definitely worth watching a lot of the streamers. They're going to give you a very good show when it comes to the game, but it'll give you an idea of the flow of the game. And I think that is really important, because I don't think that many extraction shooters really tackle this in a similar fashion. This one feels very unique in that sense, and I appreciate that from a design level, because I think they could have gone the easy route of just doing what everyone else is doing and not making it so keyed in on audio and PvE as you're kind of going around, and it would have just been a different version of a battle royale.
Gotcha. All right, man. Well, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm there. It's like, all right, I think this is one that I might spend the money on and see if we can even get the devs on the show. We'll try. Yeah. This looks looks cool.
I'll have to send you a link to a really good interview that was shared in our Xbox Discord. Actually,
Okay.
A lot of the members had talked about one of the interviews that came in with the devs, and it was a really, really interesting interview to listen to. It was on par with where you kind of bring your interviews, and I thought that I was like, this is one of the few interviews that I've seen that's not yours that was actually really good to listen to.
Thank you, man. Well, one, it's a high compliment. Thank you. And two, I know our group has had a whole like conversation set this past week that I've just been AWOL for. There were like 14 things happening in real life that are interesting. Like, like I'm on a committee now for our county trying to help teachers, and I'm doing coaching is wrapping up. I have my last little bit next week, and I'll finally have time. And then of course, we're at not midterm time, but like grad school stuff. So it's just, I've just been busy. Like it was funny to get, before we did our show, I had to move all of this out of the way. Look at all that.
Oh man.
Look at all that.
That's wild.
I had to move all that out of the way. And I was like, oh, I'm busy when it comes to this stuff, but I'm enjoying
for the kids watching later. Those are textbooks.
Yeah.
They're made from trees. They have ink on them, which I'll be honest, I don't remember what the ink's made out of, but what happens is you open them like this, and then inside is knowledge.
Yeah, no,
that's
true. It's true. And Nerd Chat October is insane in school word. Real talk, let me tell you, and I kid you not, this happened. The superintendent of my school system showed up in my classroom at 2:00 on Friday afternoon. That is Halloween. 30 minutes before school ended on a Friday Halloween. Anyone that's tried to curtail and rein in middle schoolers on Halloween and keep their behavior like together on a Friday afternoon, wild. And the fact that they showed up there, I was like, y'all kidding me? What is this? But it was just one of those. It was just like one of those things. It's like, all right.
Sometimes you drive slow past car wrecks. You just want to see.
Yeah. Could have been worse. I have great kids, so like we weren't doing anything highly intensive, but we were like doing like stuff. So it was just interesting.
I mean, as long as you don't have you don't have to have the paddle out.
Oh, shut up!
In your hand.
We're not doing that. No.
You just have it on the wall.
No.
The kids understand.
Nope. They don't.
That way, it's like the superintendent. They walk in.
You are the cat. You are the.
You are the paddle.
Stop.
You are you don't have a paddle.
I just want to know what game we were talking. We were talking about Arc Raiders. Now I do. Danny Ledesma Chavez wants to know if I have a favorite student. I do have favorite students. Absolutely. And I also target students. This is a real thing. Yes, we target the kids that need higher expectations, need to do better, that need to be supported. We absolutely do that. This weird, odd thing where people are like, don't target. No, absolutely target the ones that have needs that you can support. And do I have favorites? Absolutely, I have favorites. That doesn't necessarily mean that I dislike others. It's all the verbiage. Do the kids that yell 6'7"? Yep, they sure do.
The thing
we're moving into games.
Oh, fine,
I don't trust you, Logan. That's
all right.
I don't trust you. All right. So October was a wild month, but I even put up a little short on our channel last night to celebrate Halloween. I played a lot of single player games and some live service games. But I played a lot of single player stuff that just had the spooky vibe. And I had a blast with it. And I think I mentioned this on last week's episode. One of them was called Fear the Spotlight.
Yeah.
Some of this one. So Fear the Spotlight, I got to the end of the first chapter. I ended up not enjoying at all the ending of the game. I was really disappointed with the writing at the end. That said, this PS1 style for some reason ages really well with spooky. Like the gameplay was really fun. And Fear the Spotlight free on Epic, I think right now, maybe still.
No, I think it passed. I think there's another one, but yeah, if you missed out on that, it's kind of a bummer.
But a fun game. I really did enjoy it. It's very well made. I was just disappointed with the decision they made as far as the plot was concerned. But I'm biased based on the story, which I won't spoil for anyone. That said, Fear the Spotlight was a really cool game, and it made me want to play more PS1 era graphical showcases with kind of some modern like fixes, right? Like I don't want to see pop in or some of the weird like juddery lines, but I really do like that graphical style. And so really happy with my time with Fear the Spotlight, and it was really good at creating atmosphere. And there were multiple times where none of them are like jump scares, but just creepy elements where like in the corner of your screen, you'll see a little kid and its eyes like watching you. And if you turn your light to it, you watch them scurry backwards. And it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
It was good. And so I would recommend that one to anybody. That's well worth.
That's
well
awesome.
worth your time. Yeah.
Yeah. I always, I don't think it's on sale anymore, but I've been like on the precipice of picking up Mortuary Assistant. Because every time I watch that game, I'm just like, dude, that looks like a really fun game. Like it looks like a scary, fun game.
You talked about that one maybe a month ago, or maybe at the beginning of the month.
I think
when we were
so,
talking
yeah.
about like potentials, and I've had my eye, and so I'm keeping my eye out for that one as well because it does look fun, spooky, and I'm interested in that one.
Yeah.
For sure. Sathius in chat asking if we're talking about Arc Raiders or no. We just finished up like a 20-minute on Arc Raiders. So feel free to scroll back if you'd like to, or catch it on VOD. Now we're in the topic of like what spooky games we enjoyed this month. So I know I'm looking. Mortuary Assistant is on my list for sure.
What else you been?
I did like the live service aspects of like Sonic Racing Cross Worlds and Fortnite and Marvel Rivals, as well as Dead by Daylight, that all had spooky stuff in it. But two single player ones that I really want to call out because I just enjoy them. I played a game called Daymare 1994, and I even emailed the devs when I was done just to thank them. It was once a Resident Evil 2 fan-made project, and then Capcom brought them out to Capcom, and they said, hey, you can't make this. We're making Resident Evil 2 remake, but you should make your own IP. And so they made Daymare 1998, and then 1994 is a prequel, and I really enjoyed it. It is by no means perfect, indie studio for sure, but I really did enjoy it. And I want to recommend it for someone that goes in knowing that you're getting a fan-made-esque project in the vein of Resident Evil, third-person action horror, I guess you would say. And I really liked 1994. And then the unfortunate thing for Daymare 1994 is I played Cronos New Dawn right before it. And that's a great game. Bloober did such a good job on that one. Because again, you have that third-person over-the-shoulder shooting horror where ammo is scarce, but you're able to survive. You just have to be cognizant of all these spooky things, and I really, really liked that also. So, big fan of over-the-shoulder third-person horror in general, and Bloober Team just nailed it with Cronos, and I really did like 1994 from Daymare's devs. So, I'm more in on this one, and I got even happier because Bloober Team's Silent Hill 2 remake was accidentally leaked for Xbox. Like it's coming to Xbox finally.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
It
looks like Xbox is finally going to be able to get that.
Deservedly, and I'm excited. I'm excited for that one for sure because that's a day one for me no matter what. For sure. Like I would use our YouTube monies to cover that just in general, just because I really want to. Let's see. We had a couple chat questions here from the nerd chat. Luke, without spoilers, did you like the end of Cronos? I liked the ending. I thought the time it deals with time. A lot of the horror in this one is a time mechanic, and I thought they did a good job throughout the game of bouncing between time periods. And the ending was a little bit on the nose and also a bit nebulous, but I did enjoy it. I was just frustrated with some of the lack of answers, but I think good horror doesn't answer things. And so that's a factor for it. And then we also had somebody asking if we would like Crow County, which I think is another PS1 style game. Nerd Chat was asking that to Todd, but I've seen that one, and that one looks cool for PS1 stuff.
That's cool.
So, over the shoulder third person horror is my favorite horror. And Logan, it actually had me. I re-downloaded Resident Evils 8 and 4 because 8 got the over the shoulder patch, like you can do third person in Village, and then Resident Evil 4 is a game that I could play every other year and be happy. It's kind of like my Arkham. I just love Resident Evil 4, and so I think I'm gonna play through that at some point, like casually, not like go for it. You know what I mean? But like, I think I can casually play those because I love that one. So.
I'd be very curious to see what Resident Evil 8 in third person feels like in the mansion, because that's a very different feel. in first person.
100%. Like we've played a lot of games lately where you can bounce between third and first person, and
Outer
that's
Worlds
something.
too, yeah.
Yep, and that's something that you and I got to see Resident Evil Requiem's going to do, but Village was designed for first person, and so that'll be interesting. And I play obviously DVD we've talked about, but like when you're the killer, you're in first person. When you're the survivor, you're in third, which is the opposite of how Fear would tend to.
Yeah.
You know, if you're in third person, you have more advantages. So it's interesting. Hometown Hero asking if I played State of Decay 2. That is a great spooky game to play with friends because at nighttime and the lighting and the zombies, like it's creepy. That's an extraction game in many ways. Just a precursor to that genre.
Yeah.
But I really liked that game too. There was another spooky game I played, Logan, that I wanted to mention. Silent Hill F was one of them.
Oh yeah.
I ended up liking Silent Hill F, but just Eastern Horde remains not quite my jam. You would say, but Daymare stood out as one that I really liked, and I started playing Fear 2 of all things.
Oh,
the old Xbox 360 because I wanted like an action horror-esque, and there was a game that came out called Beneath that I bought, played 5 minutes of, and the frame rate is just a mess. It's an indie shooter, but like it looks good. The frame rate's just bad, so I'm gonna rebuy that once they patch that.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to see Fear because like that was an old one, and Todd at Oxford recommended it a while back. Game still holds up pretty well. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Jen Taylor is the voice of the girl, so Cortana's talking to you the whole time, which is fun.
Yeah, it's wild.
So yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, did you have any more? Could I jump into the one that
jump in. Tell me. Yeah.
Okay. So the one that I got to jump into was Repo, which
you did play Repo.
It just had a resurgence. In fact, I think it's like, it's getting a lot of attention, as they have just recently, announced and implemented 10 new monsters and some changes to the way that the game plays. So the levels feel a little bit smaller. The new monsters are freaky, and I have no clue how to prevent dying from them. But there's a new change that they did. So the little semi-bots that you play as, when you died, that was it. Like you went into a lobby with other dead people, or you sat quietly without anyone else, and you couldn't really like communicate at all. Like you were just kind of like stuck there. They've now made a change with the semi-bots that they have like a battery reserve. So if you die and they find your little robot head, eventually the little battery will charge up. And when it turns on, you can actually like bounce if you have enough juice, or you can talk to the people in there. So like if you die, you can be like, yeah, just to let you know, there's I died to this monster, if they find you. Or if you know that they're kind of close, but they don't know where you are, you can turn on the little walkie and be like, I'm over here. Come get me. I'm stuck down here. And you can kind of like jump up and move and stuff. So they've done some really fun stuff with that game. And I mean, it was fun before. It was really kind of fun just to go around and try and find stuff to loot and then stick it in the cart. And then you have to move the cart to the extraction point and get out with as much money as you can, because the money is going to help you upgrade your semi-bot, but it's also going to get you weapons and health packs and stuff that you can use to fight the monsters. And the levels are nice because it does that thing kind of like what with you were talking about with the PS1 games, where there's that fog of war kind of thing. Like there's that mystery, like just a little bit further out from where you can see. Like you can see like an entire room, but if you try to look down a corridor that has like an open door, you're only going to be able to see like maybe 1.5 rooms down the way before it gets dark. And popping around a corner and finding a monster just freaks you out, and you have to run and hide underneath something. That's great. So
I'm watching footage. Yeah, this looks funny until it's scary. And then you're like, oh.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun with folks, because you want to use like the in-game voice, so that because usually when I'm playing, I'll be playing with Achek and our friends there. We will mute Discord, and then we will stick to in-game voice, because some of the items give you like weird voice changes as well too. So like there's an hourglass that you pick up, and it's like talking to someone. Let me see if I can mimic it real quick.
You start talking like this.
Oh wow.
So it's it starts to mess with it. But then there's like another one that if you pick up like a love potion, you start talking, and it starts like serenading people with it and doing voice chats and stuff like that. Yeah. And to Freight Conductor's point, the point that I was about to jump into is that the proximity chat with people being chased with monsters is fantastic. And the monsters will listen for you. So if you're talking too much, because after a while you start picking stuff up and you're like, it's not that bad. I'm going to put this in the cart and then I'm going to wheel the cart around and we're going to get out of here and have a put. And then the monster comes around the corner and you're like, shut up, hide. Gotcha. And you start whispering to each other in game. And you're like, just don't move. Stop it.
That's fun. I like that. That's cool.
It's a blast. That was a game that I had heard all about, but it looked really kind of cheap. It looked weird and stuff like that. But when you get in there, the intent and the design around everything is just so well put together. It's clear, like, they weren't shooting for high graphics. They were shooting for kind of like just easy kind of like stuff like that. But it's a really well made game. The gameplay loop is a lot of fun. And it's easy enough to kind of like pick up and understand for most folks, but there's quirks and stuff in there that you never quite anticipate. And I really appreciate that. They put a lot of love into that game. And again, 10 new monsters for a free update.
Yeah. No, that's great. That looks like a fun game.
Yeah,
for sure. You've already told me on Arc Raiders. I don't think I can do another one, but like I'm already in. I'm like, all right, cool.
Well, like I said, that's the thing that I think is great about a lot of these games is it's going to come down to who do you play with, and like taking a look and talking to your friends and being like, okay, what are we going to jump into? And I think that's why we've always like really kind of taken advantage of like Game Pass, because if everyone had Game Pass, then if something comes into it, it's like, oh, well, everyone has it. We don't have to think and like decide like, okay, well, what are we going to buy?
Right.
Where do we have to coordinate our game purchases and stuff like that? Yeah. And like Freight Conductor says, like the repo goes on sale for like $7 on a regular basis. And it's only like $10. So it's an easy buy-in, but it's a fun game to kind of have like that gameplay loop. And I just appreciate that their design around that.
That's cool. I dig that, man. That's genuinely dope. Very cool. Very cool. Is there anything else in the hey, play this spooky thing?
Oh gosh.
Or that you played recently, because I do want to talk about the future of Xbox and read our patrons off, because
I don't think that there's really anything else. I did jump into Bounty Star, by the way.
How are you liking it?
That's on Game Pass. It's just as good as I enjoyed it when I did the preview for SGF. And it was really kind of cool because I found out that the suggestion that I made when I did the playthrough at SGF made it into the game.
No way.
So if you get to if you go play Bounty Star, which everyone should, especially if you're like a Mech Assault fan or like a Mech Warrior fan, this is very much like a kind of indie game that is designed around someone who used to be in the military, used to be a defender. Stuff happens. They have story that goes into that. And I'm looking forward to diving more into the story. But eventually you kind of find yourself on a plot of land that you have to manage, and you get a mech and you rebuild the mech, and then you start taking on jobs to go take out like rogues, mercenary groups, bandits, things like that are also have like their own robots and stuff like that. But one of the gameplay core mechanics in there that was really cool was they have kind of like this paper, rock, scissors game where, some weapons like bladed weapons are good against flesh, but bladed weapons aren't good against armor. So you need to have like a ammo type that's good against armor. And, that kind of, easy kind of old school Pokemon, like, water versus, grass type versus fire type kind of thing is in that game that, I really enjoyed. But one of the things that was cool was I was talking to the creative director, and I was like, it would be really cool if you had like a little thing off to the side that kind of reminded you what that paper, rock, scissor kind of thing was.
Right.
And as soon as I got past the starting tutorial and I got to sit down with my Raptor, I pulled up the loadout for my first mission.
Yeah.
There it was.
It
was beautiful. It looked exactly like what I was hoping it would look like if I wanted to have that there. And I was like, that's cool. He wrote that down in his note when we were doing the SGF preview. And then sure enough, like 6 to 8 months later on, the game's launched and it's right there on the screen. I'm like, I love that. I love that indies are willing to be that open to suggestion when it comes to their game.
That's cool. That's cool. If I might, I'm gonna try and clip this, but you should do like a post or something like.
Oh, I already messaged him and I was like, dude, it's cool to see this. Thank you for putting that in there because that's neat.
Cool. That is just such a cool thing. I dig that, man. That's great story. Great story.
Yeah.
Yo, Kay Asante in the house. I was watching Kay Asante this morning. He dropped a $5 super chat, our first one of the day. Thank you so much. He says, haven't been able to watch for a bit, fam stuff, but I still catch it always on demand. Keep up the great work, gentlemen. That means the world, my friend. Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Gaming Circle podcast. They do good stuff. He knows more about tech and STEM than I ever will, but I enjoy listening to him. So thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate
really good content there.
That might go towards either Arc Raiders or Dying Like the Beast because I'm hankering. That's cool. Thank you so much, my friend. Well, look, we got a wonderful comment from Wolf of Darkness earlier that said, love this Xbox community. This podcast is gold standard. If you're into next-gen hardware, stay, chat, share, tell your friends. Thank you for the kind comment. And I want to pivot that into saying thank you to our patrons because sometimes we forget to do that on air, but they now, all of their names roll at the very beginning of our show on YouTube. You can see their names right after our thumbnail. And so we do want to thank them sincerely for supporting the show. The same being for our channel members. Thank you guys. Logan, is it my turn or yours? Do you have a preference? I don't mind reading. If you don't, it's up to you.
If you want to, go for it. I can't remember who did it last, to be honest.
Nor can I, but I will say thank you to these incredible people. Our tier 2 and 3 patrons get a verbal shout out on the show, and we want to thank Matto1606, Matt Valdez, Clutch Quando, Omen, Jesse Prius, Fado, Aaron G, Nick Bentley, The Scarecrow, Ken Rosing, Fabian Winkler, Regis Stella, the Brony Pirate, Rob Frawley II, Tao Zochi, Nicholas Johnson, Randolph Thor 19, Hafrican, Game Positive, Jam-Pack Sam, Red Beast, and his kids, Dano 12, DJ Hero, Brendan Myers, aka The Winter Gamer, our Lord Sir Master James Suddy, and of course Sony's VP of Marketing, Kevin Butler. Thank you guys for supporting XEP. Thank you to all who choose to be channel members. If that's not you or you're not able, it's not in the budget, please no worries. Hit like, share, subscribe, support your content creators wherever you can. We appreciate you. Whew, goodness gracious. Well, Logan, I think a circulating story. We got to have a lot of fun talking about games, which is my favorite part of doing our podcast. But a circulating story this past week and kind of the end of last week that I think we have to talk about at this point on account of just it being a part of the Xbox adjacent ecosystem is what Xbox's future looks like in the hardware space. And what I find about this, I feel like we come up with this topic so often, but Matt Booty was quoted as saying that the primary competitor for Xbox is TikTok and things that take people's attention in the social media space. And we've had a lot of interesting interactions with people that have opinions on this. I know Alana Pierce had said as much several months ago, other content creators say that, whereas others in the content creation space will push back and say like, no, that they're losing sight of the mission. The mission is to make games. Their competition are people that make games. And I appreciate the logic, and competition is anyone or anything, any screen that's taking time away from your potential customer. The counterpoint, well, Xbox does games. They should be competing with people that make games. Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, Phil Spencer have all talked about putting their games in more places on other platforms, going third party in many ways, and still making hardware. And they will tout the benefits of that. And I feel like that's a very third place thing to do in terms of console sales, because the first and second place game makers have exclusive games to their platforms all day long and are quite successful there. The reason I'm pointing all this out before I ask you your opinion is the context of this is unique because Xbox has been making money hand over fist for years and years. And they're doing a very good job. They've been operating at a 12 to 13 to up to 15% profit margin. However, post Activision Blizzard acquisition, Amy Hood, their CFO, and Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, have said you need a 30% margin, which is unheard of in the video gaming space. None of them do a 30% margin on regular. In fact, 15% is pretty good. 18% is like, whoa. So Xbox has been making all of these changes to try and achieve that goal, not the least of which is forgotten most often, layoffs. And that's why their revenue is very much up most recently. It was reported the revenue is super high right now. Well, it's because they cut a lot of jobs. And so the money that they spend for the money they make are offset. So those are short-term solutions. What I would like to ask you, if I may briefly interject my own self, Freight Conductor, $20 super chat. Thank you, my friend.
Yo.
Hashtag too many games, let alone other forms of media. Well said, my friend. Well said. Thank you for supporting the show, Freight Conductor. We genuinely appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Arc Raiders, here I come. What I want to ask you, Logan, is who do you think Xbox is competing with? Who should they be competing with? And why? Just elaborate.
It's really, first off, thank you for setting the stage for the discussion, because there's a lot of news and a lot of discussion going on already, and to try and like summarize that in like less than 20 minutes on a YouTube video is tough. But I don't think that they're wrong that they are competing against other screen people, like or other companies that are vying for your screen time, because I think at the core level of entertainment in general, attention and time are the currencies that they are vying for. You can charge whatever you want, but if your content is valuable enough and it warrants the time away from other entertainment, then yeah, people are gonna pay that. With regard to like it could be, you could be going to a concert and tickets could be expensive, but tickets aren't expensive if you really value that concert. If you look at a phone and you look at how much you're going to use your phone, and you really love the prospect of how big of an upgrade that's going to be compared to your current phone, then you're going to pay for that. Your screen time is going to be divvied up. How much am I paying for Netflix? How much am I paying for Disney Plus? How much am I paying to go see something in the theaters? How many games am I buying? How much time do I have to play with those games? Are the people that I want to play with them available to be able to play them? And then should I be buying that as well too? It's always tough. You have to try and like manage it. And I think that goes back to something that I talked about a while ago, where I was, when we first talked about the Xbox Game Pass price increase, was purchasing with intent. Mm-hmm. And I think in this case, that Xbox is accurate, that they should be vying for trying to get more time from people. I think that their mentality is incorrect in this, because they are putting their content everywhere, and that's helpful to ensure that it's easily accessible. Mm-hmm. But when you bump the costs of the games, the hardware, the services, you are actively deterring people from engaging with that content. And I think those are two wolves inside of Phil Spencer that are fighting each other right now, because he wants to be everywhere, but he's actively raising the barrier of the entry to or barrier to entry for that. Mm-hmm. And that's like, how can you guys expect to be everywhere just by making yourselves more accessible if you're raising the cost on that accessibility? And that's a way that I don't think that they're really taking into account.
You mentioned Phil Spencer in this. Do you feel like this is a Phil Spencer thing? Do you feel like this is a Sarah Bond thing, CFO Amy Hood, or CEO Satya Nadella? Where do you think these directives are coming from, based on your like amateur, like, we're far removed? Where do you think?
Yeah, if I had to point the finger, I think at the end of the day, the buck stops with Satya Nadella, right? Satya says he wants money. It's up to Amy Hood to figure out how to get that. She figures out how to get that and then tells Phil, who then delivers the news to Sarah, who then has to try and pitch to like the people, like what's going on. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, you've got, folks like Matt Booty who are telling the teams, like, this is how we're going to have to start working on projects, and these are the projects that are going to survive. Mm-hmm. I need to hear pitches for how we're going to get the money that Phil has said that they need to make Amy happy so that Amy can go back to Satya and say, like, we've got the bill for AI. And that's tough, right? Like, where does the buck stop? Well, if you're Xbox, it stops with Phil. If you're Microsoft and you own Xbox, then it stops with Satya. So at this point, the machine is going to continue moving forward. And I think that it's always good to take a look and think, where do I stand as a consumer? Am I happy with the content? And am I able to sustain that happiness based on how much is being asked of me? So if I were to lay blame, I don't think it's any one person. I think it's a big machine that kind of like says like, okay, well, this is what we're going to mandate. It's just up to the people down lower to figure that out. I don't think Phil has any way to tell Amy, sorry, that's not going to happen. That 30% is not going to happen. You can take that back up top and let them know that that's not going to happen. I think Phil's going to do what he has to do to try and ensure that he's keeping the people above him happy and satisfied. And that's going to have to be up to him to figure out that solution. And I think Sarah is the one that has to try and help communicate that and support that. And it's tough. It is extremely tough for them to have to try and pitch that they are going to ask more money for the same or less than what we are currently getting for that money in today's economy, which is it sucks because everyone is more concerned about survival than enjoying content. And I think the escapism that we get with games is the salve for a lot of the other pains that we have to do when we're trying to like determine where our time is spent.
I love a lot of the way you said that, and I do want to kind of add some stuff here. But Hometown Hero drops in a good comment, I think, worth spotlighting. Circling back to something Logan said, as someone who has a satellite TV subscription as well as Game Pass, multiple streaming subscriptions, how much I pay for the service has no bearing on what I choose to do with my screen time. I subscribe to those things because I know they have content I want to see, and they have not yet priced me out. And that's interesting. The idea that like he knows he's not going to see it all regularly, and his money spent in it isn't necessarily prioritizing which time he spends with it. I've heard strong counterpoints to that as well. Kevin Ainsworth is a good example in our community of someone who's like, if I'm not doing it right now, I'm not paying for it. And that's how he operates. So I think that's the challenge of the larger entities. How do I keep people bought in? Netflix will do the thing where they'll keep creating new things, and if it doesn't hit a certain margin, they're canceling it. Doesn't matter if people are enjoying it. Doesn't matter. Others will try to keep you bought in by doing compilation packages, Disney, Hulu, that kind of thing, like merging together. And it is an interesting way to go about it. I have my own experiences where, in education, it would be superintendents. In business, it would be CEO. Well, they will tell the underlings what their expectations are, and they say, get it done. And they don't give two hoots how it affects the customer, the student, the person involved. They don't care how it affects the people working. They don't care about any of it. They say, this is the expectation, make it happen. And they're so detached from the real world that their expectations are ludicrous within that world. A 30% profit margin is going to drastically impact the ability of people to create new, unique experiences in the gaming space. Keeper, Hi-Fi Rush, that kind of stuff. Those are going to be going away because while they are a blip on the radar, now Xbox is even eliminating a 10% off for EA games or, little DLC perks. Well, they were making pennies on the dollar or losing maybe a penny here or there. Like there's no big thing there, but they're like, nope, we have to save it. Have to possibly. Their hardware is down substantial amounts in these past few months, and it wasn't like it was going to go up. But now they're like, we're not even going to take loss. Sell it for $800. And it's just unique to see the reactions.
I want to ask you a question because it's a hypothetical in this situation, and I think a lot of hardcore Xbox fans, especially like for myself, I've been asking myself this question and posing it to others because I think that it's something that is hard to kind of like fathom, like what a world would be like if after Xbox had purchased Bethesda I think Bethesda would have been enough. I don't necessarily think that they needed to go for Activision Blizzard King. I think with Bethesda, if they had decided to go hard on exclusives, the way that they did when they knew that they wanted to get Starfield, and at this point with Halo going over to PlayStation, it's not long for Starfield to eventually make its way back over there. I think the difference is that there was such a strong committal to that being an exclusive when other games weren't and other games were moving over, that the fear of the backlash may have presented themselves in a position where they can't necessarily send Starfield over right away. Also, Starfield needs to get off their butt and actually do something, because them promoting Halloween stuff that is creator content doesn't fly for me if you're selling me on a game. But I think the idea of Xbox going hard on exclusives, especially when they had kicked up projects like Blade, where they're like, we're going to have our own Wolverine. Don't worry. We know you want Wolverine. We will have our own Wolverine. It will be Blade. And I think that things like that were kind of like ways to kind of reassure like the Xbox fans, like, you are going to get the thing that you want that's on the other side of the fence, and it will take some time, but we hear you. And I think that is a situation where now we're looking at this, and I'm like, I could buy a PlayStation 5 or a PC, get my Wolverine, get my Spider-Man, and eventually I will get my Starfield. Eventually I will get my Master Chief. Eventually I will get my Gears. Eventually I will get my Blade. And I don't think that necessarily, I think that does well to support the studios that are making the games. But I think if they had gone hard on exclusives and not talk about the fact that the exclusives are not as good as they're telling us they are, because it seems to work for Nintendo. And PlayStation. I don't see anyone talking about how exclusives are bad for Nintendo. I think fans that are not willing to buy a Switch are saying that exclusives for Nintendo are not good. But as far as I'm concerned, anyone that owns a Switch and is deep into that ecosystem is happy. They've been happy with that, with what they've been getting for so long, that they may not be looking outside their own kind of bubble to see like what the rest of the industry is doing. Do you think Xbox would be in this position where they are having to do Play Anywhere, where they're having to do OEM hardware for handhelds? Do you think that they would be putting Game Pass on PlayStation eventually for this kind of like situation, if they had gone hard on exclusives?
I do think they'd be in this position, but they wouldn't be in there this early, right? I think the industry is going this route, but it would have been delayed a good 10, 15 years. If the games, and this because of it's a hypothetical, if they had done a better job managing their portfolio, their release cadence, the quality of the games releasing, like Halo Infinite, I maintain, is freaking incredible. But it was the live service aspect that they just didn't have going, which is bafflingly bad.
That's a whole nother topic about whether or not Halo needs to have multiplayer.
Halo does need to have multiplayer for sure, but the way that Halo Infinite started and handled its seasons damaged the brand name. So I say, if the portfolio had been better managed and Redfall had launched into early access and Starfield was of a better optimization quality and had a bit more Starfield is one of my favorite games on Xbox. But it's a mess. It's a mess. Halo, one of my favorite franchises. The franchise is a mess right now. Redfall could have been something genuinely special. The atmosphere of that game was fantastic. The way they were going to create bosses within the world and these missions you go out on. There was so much potential there. It just wasn't ready. Truly, it just wasn't ready. And even like the FPS patch they did where it got to 60 made it work really well. It looked really good. They just needed more, and it needed time in the oven. Had they done a better job managing their release cadence and portfolio and made it exclusive, it would have been great. Imagine, Logan, that in the year of our Lord 2025, the games are all exclusive, but we shifted back a year. So you take the release windows of 2025, and these are all better managed, and Avowed is exclusive. South of Midnight's exclusive, Keeper's exclusive, Ninja Gaiden's exclusive, Grounded's exclusive, the Outer Worlds 2 is exclusive. And you've got 6 exclusive games launching into your platform, showcased at a high quality. And in the years prior to that, you had a high quality Starfield, a high quality Forza, a high quality Redfall, a high quality, all of them. Because every game that Xbox has released this year has been good to great. Every single one.
Yeah.
All of them have been good. Have they been great? But they've all been good. You haven't had a single Redfall situation since.
And varied. They've all been varied too. It's not even like they're catering to the one genre of like a third person over the shoulder action adventure game where you squeeze between rocks and look for yellow paint. They've all been very varied games and really good at that.
So if they had gone hard in the paint for exclusives, managed their portfolio better, accessed some of their IP that is laid dormant, managed Perfect Dark better, created a Crackdown that people wanted to play, so you had an open world, crazy superhero-esque.
Okay.
Say what you will, but Crackdown 1 did something, right?
Yeah.
Like my point is, had they better served their fans, and then they'd be in a different position. So yes, would that have been better for them? Yes, they would have had better console sales. I do not think they would have beaten PlayStation or Nintendo. I don't think the goal should be to beat PlayStation or Nintendo. The goal should be to create a self-sustaining model where you have fans that are happy with your product and continuously buy into that product.
Yeah.
But we do have the benefit of hindsight to look back at. And I was championing getting Call of Duty and Call of Duty and all the IP that comes with Activision Blizzard, championing that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Still think it's kind of a cool thing, but the way that it's being handled and the way that Microsoft Gaming has stepped in to neuter the ability of Xbox to create and work within it, Tango Gameworks should never have been shut down. Changed, perhaps, modified, but Hi-Fi Rush was special. Why does Hi-Fi Rush have to shut down, but Keeper gets to be made? Keeper's a lighthouse walking sim where you don't get to have combat. And I'm not dissing that, but why is that different than this weird Sega-infused energy of a rhythm game?
Yeah.
Why? Did you need to just move Tango? Did you need to adjust your relationship with them? Payment dividends, licensing? What needed to be different? And that's the frustrating aspect of this, because you had award winners ready to talk, and that it just disappoints me. Coffee Jesus, Ghostwire Tokyo, great game. Loved it. Genuinely loved it. Unique, strange, weird. Is it going to win all the awards? No, but that was something they could have done something with. Evil Within 1 and 2, ripe for a sequel. Ripe for a sequel. Why not access that? So I guess I don't mean to sound like I'm ranting, because I do think my opinion is based in logic in this case, not emotion. But they could have better managed all of this and not been in this state where now every content creator right now that is making Xbox content or Xbox adjacent content, if you search YouTube, Xbox is dead shows up within the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a shame. And Xbox is certainly not dead. They've launched, 6 games that I rattled off a moment ago this year alone. But the Xbox under your TV, yeah, that's done, guys. It's done. It's done. And you need to not be an Xbox fan any longer. If you want to be happy, you need to be a Halo fan, a Gears fan, a Doom fan, a Call of Duty fan. Like that's the only way to enjoy the brand. It's same with Sega. Like it's not the same, but it is a good analogy. Like, are you a Sega fan or do you love Sonic? Do you love Yakuza? Do you love Like a Dragon? That's just kind of where you're at now, because you don't love the Genesis. It's not the same.
Yeah, it's tough because I agree with you, and I think one of the interesting takeaways is not that this is I get it, again, it kind of goes back to where does the buck stop, right? But one of the comments that you made about the management of this is interesting, because looking at like what they've done with the games, I think Redfall, if they had, because they were supposed to launch, what was that, like June 2022 or 2023 or July,
but it wasn't.
And it got delayed to like May of the next year. And I absolutely think that like Xbox is not utilizing their preview system the way that they ought to, because there's so many games that if they had done a preview of Redfall, I think it would have had time that it needed. I think if they had, jump in.
I despise when people interrupt their co-hosts.
No, you're good. Do it.
When if Grounded 2 had launched as a full release, it would have been rightfully destroyed because it's just not ready for prime time. It's very playable, but like there's not enough polish there to really, it's just not enough polish there for what they want. But because it's early access, you can celebrate all the wins because there's so many wins, right? But only 2 mounts is not enough. And yeah, you've got a good chapter 1 story of many hours of enjoyment and crafting, but you need refinement. You need like you can't release in that state and say, what do you think? 9 out of 10? No, that's a 7 out of 10. But it's I freaking love Grounded 2. But you can you let it go because early access, no problem. You're gonna fix this. You're gonna fix the thing in Redfall where your frame rate's not quite nailing it in big combat. You're gonna fix your ammo problem. You're gonna fix your weapon diversity and your enemy diversity. Okay, cool. I got you. I see the vision.
That is a fair assessment. I was going to say that, Grounded 2 has plenty of content, but the content is a lot of the same. It's just in a different setting. And the stuff that they have added has been good, but it was no different than when they started adding updates to their fully yoked version of Grounded 1. But yeah, I think that if Xbox had been managed better, and not to say that, I mean, look at Nintendo. Nintendo has been mismanaging their IP for a while as well, too. We should have had a new 3D Mario a long time ago as the sequel to Odyssey, because Odyssey was a fantastic game and warranted it. Instead, they decided to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and then landed on a Donkey Kong game, which in its own right is also a fantastic game. But Mario Kart World is not the sequel to Mario Kart 8 that everyone wanted. And it's been unfortunate that they've taken out a lot of the characters that I think a lot of folks loved, and they would have rather have had more characters added to it on top of like the $80 price tag for the game is wild. So there's definitely, like, in PlayStation side, we don't have to go into the Jim Ryan era of everything has to be a games as a service failure. Like we've talked about that in the past. It's clear that these companies are still struggling to find out what it is that they should be going for. PlayStation fans, they want what they want, and it's the same thing generally from different IPs. Ghost did really well, did better than the first one, and I think that Yotei is one of those games that will kind of stand the testament of time. It will keep its price tag because it's just that good of a game. But I think a lot of folks are waiting for Wolverine to come out at this point, and that's what they want. That's what they're going for, and I think that the studios know that, and I think that PlayStation needs to get back to that sense because that fan base is locked in on that. But they definitely mismanaged how they should be approaching multiplayer and games as a service games, because all of those initiatives all died. And it's one of those situations where I don't think any one company is managing their IP and their systems well. I think they're well enough to still be profitable, but it's clear that the reason why some of these companies are doing better than Xbox has to do with IP and has to do with exclusivity.
The amount of things we've discussed today that have to do with higher ups being detached from the consumers and users and the problems that show up between them is just further evidence that, like, if you're not a gamer, you shouldn't be making decisions that affect gaming. If you're not using the product that your business makes on a regular basis, then you shouldn't be making or making decisions that impact the people making that product. And you also shouldn't force it. I mean, like, Copilot is getting sued out the wazoo. This AI initiative that Microsoft has sued out the wazoo in multiple countries, to include Australia, which, by the way, is a massive continent. Your maps lie to you. That Australia is huge. It's
not a lot there.
Yeah, but it's
what is there is trying to kill you on a regular basis.
True, but like, teach in America. That's how it goes. The idea of forcing something when the market's not ready for it is Microsoft's 101. How many times do we see that? So I just wish that I just wish that they did a better job at managing their stuff, because they make good stuff. Surface was good, Windows Phone was good, Xbox was good, and they just I don't know.
I'm going to be very curious to find out how Xbox plans their next gen hardware to be marketed, because with a lot of the discussion going around about how it's going to be more expensive, how it's going to be like a much more powerful system. I still have my 4080 Super in my PC here. It still plays games on high and like Epic, and I'm still using like the AI boost to get the lower latency and get the frame generation and the hardware ray tracing and stuff like that. So for me, like with Arc Raiders, I purchased Arc Raiders on Xbox because of Play Anywhere. And that initiative, it was enough of a decision for me to buy it through the Xbox app as opposed to Steam, where I originally was going to buy it, because I know that I can at least go upstairs if I want to and load up Arc Raiders on there and play relaxed if I want, and have access to it on multiple ecosystems. Mm-hmm. So Xbox's exclusivity is one of those things that I've been bringing up a lot, but at the end of the day, I think the true exclusivity that Xbox has is the cross ecosystem access to your content that they need to figure out with the handhelds. If they're going to sell those, that's what they'll need to figure out. And their hardware needs to be something that warrants whatever cost they are going to decide that needs to be, because you cannot have a slight incremental increase to what they're selling for the Xbox Series X and justify a $300 bump in cost.
Yeah. It's done. Yep. Nailed it. Logan, I really enjoyed our conversation today. I feel like it was quite good.
Yeah. We didn't have any like news stories, but it was good to talk about the games that we've been playing, because I think that with a lot of content creation, sometimes the games get lost in the sauce. And you know, I think that it was nice to get a chance to kind of gush about Arc Raiders. Also, Hometown Hero, absolutely correct here. Playing an extraction shooter relaxed. Can you imagine? You run in with nothing, buddy. You're running with nothing, and you stuff your hands in whatever you can, and you get out with whatever's in your pockets. That's the way to play it relaxed.
That's a metaphor for life, Logan.
Yeah.
All
Go
right.
into that store and just grab whatever you can and just run out.
That's not what I meant. All right. I hope that everyone has a fantastic rest of your week. Logan, is there anything you need to spotlight before I shut us down here?
Go try Ball Pit, guys. It's on Game Pass. It's a weird one, but that's one of those games that I like legitimately. If I'm looking for a relaxing game, I've been playing on my G Cloud lately because they got the update to Game Pass streaming, the 1440p at 60 frames now. That is that's fun. That's a fun one to play on your streaming device. So definitely, if you've been seeing people play it, you're not even quite sure, give it a chance for an indie game. It may actually surprise you. You may actually enjoy it. I have seen some horrific images of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle suits from the third movie that I have held off on sending to Luke because I'm scared that it might break his immersion into TMNT. So outside of that, I do Keelhauled Podcast is a Sea of Thieves podcast. I'm the longest running Sea of Thieves podcast out there. I'm coming up on 400 episodes by around the start of the year, and that game is it's going to be a spicy episode this week because they've announced that they're going to be delaying season 18 after they just told us that the new way that they're releasing seasons is going to be better streamlined for their content development. And I don't know how that works if you delay it. So that's what I've got going on. I appreciate the opportunity as always to plug the stuff that I'm working on.
Absolutely. And that's a good topic. And quite literally, one of the first things I talked about with the DBD devs, because they delayed some stuff. And I asked them, I was like, how's that going? So yeah, it was interesting. So, well, just put up 2 interviews in the last month between Outer Worlds 2 and Dead by Daylight. Of course, we've got Logan's review of Outer Worlds 2 that's on the site. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Hopefully, we can be able to do more stuff as our schedules start to kind of ease out. We'll see. But I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, everyone. Support your content creators. Take care.